So yesterday's session, we understood what Pega is mainly used for. Okay, so the simple answer for this is Pega is used for developing web applications. And then we understood web applications will be of two types. What are those? In internet application as well as intranet applications. So each and every organization will have one main website which is hosted on public, and there will be n number of such intranet application. These are meant for improving their business automated. Okay, so now Pega as a tool which is automating these intranet applications for any organization. So that is where we are considering this as business process management tool. Pega is one BPM tool. So there are n number of BPM tools in the market. Okay, so out of which Pega is somewhere standing at the top because of its end-to-end solutions. Yesterday we understood Pega is making an applicational related automation easy. Okay, we can easily develop that. And apart from development, we can able to integrate the same application with the third-party applications, and there will be something called versioning concepts included, something about like data visualization part included, and deployment part included. So after we creating an application till to the deployment to the production level, everything is what we can handle with Pega as one single tool. So if any organization purchasing Pega license for their application development, they need not rely on any other tool. They need not hire any extra developers. They need not manage any extra admins for that. So that is what its a specialty is. Okay. And yesterday we thought that there will be like integrations completely included. We thought all these things, right? Okay. And we understood Pega is like completely automated, and client, if any client is purchasing Pega, so he will be getting two major advantages. So that is everything will be developed in very less time. Consider one application like Flipkart, just an example. So in order to develop this Flipkart project, we require front-end developers, correct? So just to design an application in traditional way, I'm talking about in traditional way, we require front-end developers, at least maybe like 3 members, and something about like back-end developers, maybe 4 members, and maybe database related administrators, 2 members, and Tableau related persons, maybe like two. For visualize, sorry, both are same, right? For versioning, there might be at least one administrator. For deployment, there might be like 2 people. So consider just to develop one application in one traditional way, we might require 20-member team. 20-member team. And that too, this application is something developing from scratch. So everything is like manually to be coded. It might take minimum of 2 years for initial deployment to the production. So if you are the client of this Flipkart organization, and if you wanted to get this done, so you have to pay for how many members? 20 members, right? For how many years? For 2 years, you have to pay this much. And consider the same if you are trying to do with Pega. So in Pega, one Pega developer, if you are a Pega developer, you don't know what is HTML, you don't know what is Java, you don't know what is like SQL, you might not know what like reporting and everything. But still, you as a Pega developer can do what an HTML developer is doing there manually. And then, so can't you drag and drop and design something? And is this not that what an developer is doing manually here? So you as a developer can do what a Java developer is doing there. And you can do what a DB administrator is doing there. So every developer's duty you can try as a Pega developer without knowing anything physical coding. Okay, so that is where one Pega developer can replace all the traditional developers, correct? Okay, and here we don't require 20-member team then. To get the same output, I might require just a 5-member team, that is enough. And that too, I don't design anything from zero. I have background Java code ready. I have background HTML code ready. I should learn drag and dropping. I should learn how to call the related rules in the back.
Pega,
Please go ahead.
Pega demo.
Please go ahead and get.
అలానేమో స్లీపింగ్ లిగే పద్ధతి లిపు ఆయన అయితే లేదు.
Okay, so here 5 developers are enough. Please go on mute. I'm getting some disturbance. Whoever is not talking, please go on mute. Okay, so here just like 5-member team is enough what and traditional developers are doing here. Okay, so if you are the client, so wanted to develop an application using Pega. So you can pay for this 5 members. That too, it will not take like 2 years time as it took in the traditional way. It might be completed just in 6 months, correct, right? Okay, so paying for this 5 developers for 6 months, it will be easy for a client compared to paying for 20 members for 2 years. So that is where all the clients are attracted today to get their applications developed with the Pega only because of resources cut down as well as because of less development time. So Pega projects are huge in number. And today Pega is widely used in every sector. So you take banking sector, you take Citibank or HSBC Bank or whatever it is, every bank internal applications are managed with Pega only. Okay, so Standard Chartered is like very big project in our South India, banking related, and HSBC, Bank of America, City, everything. And coming to retail related part, so eye care related applications, or maybe e-commerce related applications, or maybe like banking or healthcare, or even government applications are also running on Pega today. So Australian government applications. So in Australia, if there is something to be done about their house constructions, so their Australian government employees will use some applications, right? That is developed with Pega, that too in Hyderabad. So we're having n number of Pega projects under different sectors. Okay, so petroleum projects will be there, banking projects will be there, insurance projects will be there, healthcare, retail, whatnot, construction related. So every client under every sector, there are like Pega related projects. And that is where Pega is giving some extra solution of frameworks also. So consider you take any geo application. Consider you are the representative of geo. Representative meaning if any customer is calling you, you will be using some application, right? So that is completely for geo. Consider. And you quit this geo and you try to join as the same representative in Airtel application. More or less this design and this design will be similar. Okay, so meaning Geo applications, maybe Airtel applications, Vodafone applications, AT&T applications. So every application under telecom sector, it will be little similar. And every application under banking, maybe Bank of America applications. So maybe Citibank applications, maybe like Axis Bank applications, all this will be little similar, right? So that is the reason Pega, what they're trying to do is they're trying to prepare something called framework, kind of all the predefined things kept ready. So we from Hyderabad wanted to start a bank. No doubt the application, whatever we create, it will be little similar to above applications. No? So for this entire framework is kept ready. So you can purchase that framework and get things fully automated. So earlier days, there are no such frameworks ready. So if I wanted to design everything in traditional way, it might take maybe 2 years time, completely from zero. And if you're trying to do with the Pega, it might take maybe 6 months time. Okay, now in Pega itself, you have got something called frameworks where it will be completed completely in 50% of time. In just 3 months, you can develop everything. So in the traditional way, compared to that, Pega is giving like fully automated. Now these days, there are something called extra frameworks also generated. So I can straight away purchase some kind of template, maybe in your language to understand something more. So there will be banking application template ready. I can simply use it and I can make changes whatever I wanted. So technically, these are called as frameworks. Okay, we'll talk about frameworks in detail in the coming sessions. But for now, what I'm making you to understand is in Pega, everything is automated. But the problem with Pega is license is costly. So compared to any other BPM tool, Pega license is very costly. That is where you will not see Pega projects in small clients. Okay, so very big clients only can afford this Pega license. Okay, and that too, these Pega projects will be available even in small software companies, but client will be big there. What do you mean by small software company? So most of you will be thinking that Pega, will it be available in every company or not? It will be there. So consider Bank of America. It is like very big client, right? He will try to go for Pega license affording. He can manage that. And this particular project development, he will not do on his own. No doubt he will be having some Pega development team, but he will not be using that team for developing this application, because service based people will do perfectly compared to product based people. So this might be giving as a project for some service based companies like TCS, Cognizant, Accenture, whatever. So here this TCS, what they will do is they are like direct vendors for this Bank of America. And here there is one position to work for this Bank of America. And maybe if this position is for shorter period, maybe for only 6 months. So they're already using one Pega version, something like older. They wanted to upgrade it, meaning the existing design to be upgraded to the latest versions of Pega, right? It is like small project only, hardly 6 months project or 1 year project. So here in TCS, there is one requirement to work for this Bank of America, and that is just for 6 months. That is where TCS will not go for any direct recruitment. What they will do, they'll try to give this as an vendorship for one more small company. Okay, something like ABC company. So this ABC, they'll start hiring it now. So you will be getting like Naukarilo notifications kada, saying like so and so ABC company looking for Pega developers. And in job description, so version upgradation part, something related to that. So if you are like joining here, so completely payroll and other stuff will be based on this ABC only. And you are supposed to go to TCS, and from there you are supposed to work on the client related part. So meaning this ABC company is not having Pega project directly. So this ABC also sometimes they can give it for one more small vendor like XYZ, and they can give for one more chain something like PQR. So this is something like startup company range, maybe in Hyderabad or some other cities. So for one client position, so there might be something like bigger chain running out, right? Okay, so this small startup company like PQR, they'll start hiring you. And in this context, what they look is they'll just check whether the candidate is having proper subject or not. Consider if I'm the interviewer in this small startup company. So we'll release one notification saying like Pega position, which is of 3 years. And there they can officially or unofficially mentioning that career gap is also accepted. Okay, or any degree is also accepted. So what is this startup company doing? They are just picking up the best profiles in terms of subject, whether the candidate is having really 3 years level manageable skill or not. So if he is like really 3 years manageable skill, but he's not having proper eligibility, he's having 10 years of gap. So if a candidate, consider yourself, you might be having some career gap. So can you directly join Bank of America in this Pega team? No, they'll not take you. Can you directly join this TCS? They'll not take you. Can you join this company? They may or may not take you. So these above level companies, they'll run behind some policies. They wanted to check whether this profile is properly genuine or not. So how about his background? Is he having any something like fraud history or not? So that is where they don't want to take risk. So what they will do is they'll try to give some vendorship for some reasons. And in that scenario, you might be directly joining the startup company. So here startup companies, they will not look much for your background. You might be having something irregular gap. You might be having some gap in your education also. Okay. Or you might be something completely non-IT stream. You can happily or transparently project to them. So there are like companies or maybe in kind of some CEOs, startup company CEOs, they'll call us. They'll say like, we want 3 years level candidates. They might be having something gap also. That is what they'll openly ask for. What we'll say is, so we are sending you maybe 4 or 5 profiles. These are like perfectly strong candidate. They are not having proper eligibility, but they can manage. This is what we'll transparently project. So they'll just interview from here. So if they are like okay in terms of you managing, so they will give you maybe 1 week or 2 weeks KT. So some kind of training level they'll give. What they'll say is, we are sending you to one more client and you should say that you are working in our company from past 3 years. So I'll try to manage the documents. This is what they'll say. So meaning this company will try to manage this company about your profile. And this company will try to manage this company and they'll try to manage. And here this particular company, what they'll do, they'll say like so and so person is very strong and he will meet your client requirements and he is working in our company from past many years. This is what they'll say. So this particular position, whatever you stand, no doubt you will be getting maybe 10 or 20% of the salary what your client is giving. So this client, he will pay for you, you meaning a Pega developer, almost like $40 per hour. It's like minimum amount. That is like, it can be more also. $40 per hour. Imagine per day, there will be 8 hours. And for a month, there will be minimum of 22 days. So just understand how huge the salary will be. And that to this amount, it will not be completely credited in your account. So this Bank of America, they'll pay for this company, right? And this company, what they will do, they will not talk about salary in terms of hourly basis. We'll give so and so package. That's it. For this year, this is the package. And in this scenario, you should come on Saturdays or Sundays when our client is asking you. So you should support on midnight, whatever it is like completely contract based package. So this company, they'll give you maybe 10% of what client is giving you them. Even that will be huge. Even that will be huge. So today, if you join any of these direct to vendor companies, you'll be saying like, I got 20 lakh package, 30 lakh package. If they're paying you 30 lakh, just imagine into 4 times they should be getting from the client. No doubt it will be minimum of 3 to 4 times from the client. Okay. And again, this particular company, what they'll do is they'll not directly pay to this person because he's like contractor, vendor for us. So they'll pay to this person. So if it is like maybe 1 crore package, so they'll give it as like maybe 15 lakh, 15 lakh. And here they'll give it like only 7.5 lakh. And this person will send the same amount to this person, maybe like 6 lakh. And he will pay this person maybe like 4 lakh or 3 lakh. So you as like a direct Pega developer, you can earn this amount, but because of like you not having proper eligibility, so you should start your career in this way. So why am I giving this statement today itself is, generally we'll explain this part in terms of resume preparation and kind of like interview preparation. But why am I saying this today itself is, so few of you might be having huge career gap. So what you guys think is, with this career gap, so can I join as a Pega developer anywhere? Okay, so you got answer for this. You cannot directly join in the client position. You cannot even join in the immediate vendors also. So there are like n number of startup companies in every city, Hyderabad, Chennai, Bangalore, wherever it is. There are like huge consultancy companies or maybe startup companies across world. So these consultancy companies' major motto is to check whether candidate is having enough subject or not. So even with 5 year or 10 year gap, there are like people surviving for that. They are joining like a fresher in this company. Fresher in the sense, it's not like fresher in the sense they might not be having previous experience, but it is guaranteed that you should get minimum of 3 years level knowledge. Without this knowledge, you cannot anywhere. You cannot do anything. So you cannot even get position here. So you might be like a fresher for that company, but it should be projected as 3 years that they'll take care. So they'll project in this prospective, and even this company knows that this candidate might be a fake, But what they'll think is this candidate is not our direct employer, right? So it's hardly for 3 months or 4 months. What for taking this? So let's project to the client after 3 months or 4 months after the project is done. So if required, we'll take it. Maybe then we'll take background verification. So this is what the further thinking will be. Okay, so meaning even if you're having career gap, it's not a big deal, provided you should have a strong subject. That is one thing. Okay, that is one thing. And second doubt, what you'll have in your mind is, so will the startup companies have Pega projects or not? Obviously, directly no. So they cannot directly get Bank of America projects. They'll not trust them, right? So they will try to work as a sub vendor for so and so company, for so and so company, for so and so company. So you are an employee for so and so XYZ company. Your end client is Bank of America. So maybe its below client is might be like TCS. This is what you should know. So only this level of companies will have direct projects, and these are like sub vendors on top of it. Okay. So coming back here, so today Pega developer is paid high in the market, high in the sense to how close you go to the client. So that huge amount is what you'll get. Okay, so if it is like in offshore, as I told you, you'll be paid around like $40 per hour. And if it is onshore, if you're working at client location directly, you'll be paid around 80 to $120 per hour. It's like huge. 80 to 120. It may or may not be credited into your account directly. That depends. Okay. And today, as I told you, because of like Pega related features, Pega has got huge automated things, right? Because of those features, Pega is like high in the market, top in the market. So there is no other BPM tool which is of equal competitor. So just because of that, it can stand at top in the market for next 10 to 15 years minimum. You need not worry on that. Okay, so today, if you put your efforts to learn Pega for the next 10 to 15 years, you can happily survive. That is like guaranteed. Okay, you need not worry on that. And these are all the general competitors in Pega of Pega, but there is no equal competitor. There is no equal competitor. Why? Because there is nothing like 50% automated compared to Pega. So consider Pega is like 100% automated in every requirement. But other competitor tools are just like 50 to 60% automated. Maybe on top of that, you may have to write some coding. So you know Salesforce tools, right? You might be knowing Salesforce. Salesforce is also one similar tool compared to Pega, but that is under CRM. That is different story. It is also a tool, and you try to talk to any of your friends if they're working in Salesforce. Just ask them whether they are writing any coding or not. They'll say, right, they'll say like lot of coding to be done on Salesforce. But in Pega, there will not be any coding at all. That level of automation is already done. So no other tool can compete in terms of such automation in the near future. Okay, you need not work on. And even Pega is into CR. Pega is into different sectors as well. But Pega is like top under BPM category. Pega is famous for BPM sector. Okay, fine.
Chandra, I have like one question here. The previous one, like so you showed like someone who have career gap, he can join as a fresher or like that. But what about someone is already working and having like good package 15-20 LPA, but not on Pega technology, but want to switch into Pega technology? Then
It should
what
not
should be
be a
the
big
path?
problem. Consider you are having industry experience of 10 years. It might be on Java, may not be on Pega. You might be having something genuine industry experience. So what you're supposed to do is, out of those 10 years of experience, we have to prepare resume for you considering initial 6 years onto your original technology like Java. And the recent 4 years, you have to showcase it on Pega. Okay, so that is like matter of resume preparation. Okay, and you need not bother about like background verification failure. Since you are like perfectly working in some company, all the pay slips, maybe respect to related documents, everything will be genuine. Only thing is what you have to struggle is like resume preparation. For that, if you have very good strength in terms of Constellation, or if you have very good strength in terms of Gen A or the latest concepts of Pega, so no doubt your resume can be easily floated and your profile will be picked up. And on top of it, how do you manage? So then it will be decided. So there are like hundreds of people doing the same. So every day, whatever the Pega resume running out, it is not purely genuine resume. There might be completely fake experience, or there can be completely not relevant experience also, just like what you asked. So maybe complete Java experience, they're trying to showcase 50% on it Pega, and the existing package, what they're having like 15 or 20 lakhs. On top of it, minimum they'll get 30 to 40%. Okay, so did I answer your question?
Yes, one more further question to this. Most of HR generally do they ask like in which year you did your certification?
That is where I'm coming to certifications part.
Hmm.
Okay, so next discussion is about certifications. I'll talk about this. Okay, if that is about certifications, you please wait for some time. Or if it is something about the past discussion, you can proceed.
Oh no, it's about the certification and in which year you did that. Basically,
That's what.
those.
I'll come there. Fine. So today, after you learning Pega, maybe for next 4 or 5 months, what generally you guys will think? You wanted to showcase yourself as like 4 years, right? And then you wanted to project your profile as 4 years. So you'll try to carry your resume, and in resume, it will say it has like 4 years. And you'll try to project maybe project one, project two, project three, n number of projects. Okay, so this is something in the older version, this is something in the latest water. So if I just look at your resume, so is it guaranteed that I have to trust you as like 4 years? No, right? I have to just cross check whether you are really genuine or not. I have to check whether you are really genuine or not. How to check for whether you are like really genuine or not? So one major thing is about like certifications. One major thing is about certifications. So every one of you should register in one Pega portal. Okay, I'll make you to register maybe after 1 week. You should know what are all the things where exactly how to make changes, right? So you have to register in one website, right? Pega related portal. And in that portal, or companies, they'll ask you, what is this portal ID? We call it as Pega PDN. Okay, Pega Discovery Network is what they'll call. What is meant by PDN? Pega Discovery Network. Okay, so whatever the Pega website I'm saying, so initial days we used to call it as Pega PDN, and after that they called it as Pega Community, and maybe few years they called it as Pega Knowledge Hub, and I think today they are calling it as Pega Academy. So everything is same, but we used to call it different names. But today it is still famous with the keyword called Pega PDN. Interviewers, they'll ask you, please tell me your Pega PDN ID. They'll talk about like Pega PDN ID. So what do you mean by Pega PDN ID? It is something, a website where you have to register. One register ID will be generated. Okay. And what they can do with your ID? So they can just log in and they can cross check about your certifications. When did you do your certifications? So now in Pega, there will be three major level of certifications. You can see the first one as Pega CSA, System Architect. Second one, Senior System Architect. And the next one is like Lead Architect. These three are three major related. Apart from these three, you are having something other certifications also. Pega Decision Making, Pega Business Analyst, Pega Robotics, and Pega UI Specialist. So Pega, likewise, we'll be having some extra things also, but those are not primary. And what is this first one about? So if you wanted to showcase yourself as like 0 to 2 years of experienced, okay, you wanted to show yourself as like just 1 year in Pega. You might be having 10 years of non-relevant experience. That's fine. But Pega, if you wanted to just show between 0 to 2, so you are expected to complete this first certification. So Pega CSA. And certification costs around maybe $190, $190. and including GST in India, it will be reaching to $225. In India, it will be like including 18% GST, it will be 225. It will be almost done up to maybe 18 to 19,000 generally. General cost is like fine. And this price is what you are supposed to pay and you have to complete it. This is like expected. And there will be some other easy ways to complete this also. If you wanted, you can just reach us separately. And this is what expected. And if you wanted to showcase yourself somewhere between more than two, generally between 2 to 6 years, people will try to go for this certification showcasing. Okay, so after our course is done, you wanted to prepare like 3 years or 4 years, right? Then you have to complete both the certifications. It's not like you directly doing this one. System will not allow. So wherever the Pega PDN you registered, so there you have to complete the first level, then only you have to complete the second level. And there is nothing gap required between first one and second one also. So system will allow you, but it is actually recommended to maintain at least maybe 3 months or 6 months gap between these two things. Fine. And the next one is called Pega Lead System Architect, which is like expected if you wanted to showcase minimum of 8 years or even 10 plus years, it is okay. There are even 9-year Pega resource with this second certification also, not a problem. Okay, so depending upon how you project yourself on Pega, certifications must be there. So if you say like I have 10 years of Pega, but certification, if it is saying okay, like only first one, who will accept? Who will believe you? No, right? No. So minimum 2 certifications are to be done based on the experience. Okay. So consider I am the interviewer. I am the interviewer. And you came to me for walk-in or interview and you gave me resume and it is like saying like 4 years. And if I search for Pega PDN ID, I can see both the certifications. You have genuinely completed. I can see both the certifications reflecting. So can't I see the certification dates? Yes, right? I can see certification dates also. So your project in your resume, your project one is saying like, so 2021 as your project one. Project two, maybe 2023. But here certifications will be showing it as 2025, right? If you are doing it today. And if you are doing it today, certification dates will be something as this. Okay. And your resume is saying something as this. How to manage this? So they'll clearly understand that you are a fake. It's like transparent. They'll clearly understand that you are a fake. Okay. And this kind of gap is not encouraged if you are going to the direct client. Okay, so sometimes direct client openings will be there. Bank of America is hiring Pega developers. That is client position, right? It is client position. So if you are trying to go for there, straight away, maybe after you applying that, you might get a call. So they might directly ask you, when is your CSS certification done? They might directly ask you. If you say it as 2025, sorry, we cannot consider. We are looking for candidates who has done certifications before 2021. This is what directly they'll ask. Meaning they are looking for Pakka genuine candidates only. No? So you can ignore applying for that company. And if you are talking about like second one, maybe TCS. TCS is hiring for Pega developers for one of our famous clients. So still you'll apply. And here TCS should be completely genuine in hiring a candidate as it is projecting to the client. Okay, so Bank of America will trust TCS considering everyone is like a non-fraud candidate. So just because to maintain that, TCS also will look for this kind of genuine candidates. They look for certification dates and even they look for something about your past PF documents, everything. Okay, and just coming to the below chain, as I told you, n number of below companies will be there, right? So they will not look about any of these things. So their major motto is to get one very good skilled candidate. And what about the certification dates might be, and what about his like past documents might be, not a problem. So startup companies will try to hire them, and they'll give you only 50, maybe 50% of what they are getting. Consider I'm running a startup company. Okay, and I will take you. Okay, and I'll project you to my client, and there I'll demand like 15 lakh package for you. So 15 lakh will be shared in my account and this startup company will give you just 5 lakh. So in this one profile, they are getting almost like 10 lakh per year, right? 10 lakh per year. So they don't want to get this amount lost. Okay, that is where startup companies will not look for any certification dates. Startup company will not even look for kind of whether you are like genuine or not. So you should compromise at every point and you should join some startup company. So I'm talking about people who are not having proper chain in the background. Okay, so they should compromise in every aspect and they should work in some startup company. And no doubt you will be getting less package. And no doubt, or you cannot guarantee in how many days you will be removed also. So if client is saying like this requirement is no more after 1 month, if they're saying like requirement is no more. So in the big companies like TCS, they will put you on bench and they'll take you in another project. But in the startup companies, it will not be like that. So there will be risk factor in terms of job security and there will be lesser package. And because of their huge profit for startup companies, they'll ask you might be for 1 or 2 years of bond. Okay, so if you can compromise in every other aspect, no doubt you can start your career. And you should work there maybe at least for 1 or 2 years just to gain experience. So if you are like switching to very immediate company and there if there is like background problem, so this genuinity will be lost, right? That is where in every startup company you should at least work for 1 to 2 years just for the experience gathering out. And any candidate in the startup company will not work more than 2 years. Even they know that. They will try to take new candidates. If there is like you working for more than 2 years, they have to pay you more, right? Instead of that, they'll send you out and they'll take one more fresher candidate. They'll pay only 4 lakh for that. And from the company, they'll take 20 lakhs. So this is what the cycle running out. And now to answer your question. So whoever is asking. So certification dates are no doubt mandatory. It's like considered, provided if you directly join in the end client or maybe it's below vendor. And if it is something about startup companies, it doesn't matter much. And even in startup companies, sometimes, it's not every time, in sometimes, consider this is top level and one more. This is startup company. And here, if you are joining here, so this company will be told saying like, this is for Bank of America. They'll not generally share client names. So no company will share client names. Even if you're going for an interview and asking for who is the client, they'll not say because they themselves might not be knowing that. So above client might not say that. It is because of one of the reputed company, reputed client. So once it is like employed, then we give respect to creativity and others. They're trying to manage. So in this process, if a client name is known everywhere, so they will be given instructions saying like this is for city client and city client is looking for certification dates. Just hire only genuine candidates. These will be instructions will be shared on day one itself. 99% in the startup companies, there will not be such problem. Okay, so if anyone wanted to look for your genuinity, they can easily do that. They can make you, they can identify in just 1 minute. They can identify in just 1 minute, but they wanted to fill that position with some skilled person. He might be like, however, the background experience it might be. Okay, so if a particular position, consider, we are supposed to hire a Pega developer and I'm supposed to fill that position. Consider I am interviewing 10 persons. All these 10 persons are something like fake. So if I'm not taking them, meaning I could not identify the best person here, right? So this above client, so might give the same position to one more company. So this company will lose that position. This company will lose a lot of billing. That is where they'll try to hire a very good resource and they'll try to manage on top of it. So you need not bother much about like fake things or even certification related with the late dated also. So now clear, right, Saurabh?
Yes, but
That's right.
can they afford someone like expensive candidate? I mean, obviously, like 4 5 lakhs for a fresher is fine, but somebody getting
It
like
depends upon the position, right? So if you're already having 10 years of career gap, sorry, 10 years of working experience. Okay. And if you are trying to say like that, I'm looking for minimum of 25 lakh. So they will check how much they're getting from the client. So generally startup companies at low level, they might not pay you this huge. So you are supposed to go for something higher level companies. So maybe below this range, everywhere it can be managed. Everywhere it can be managed. So today there are like maybe yesterday I think so. So in Bangalore there is one Pega LSA position required. That's a startup company. They're ready to quote 60 lakh package for them. It's just a startup company. In Bangalore, there is a startup company looking for Pega LSS, minimum of 12 plus years experience. They are ready to pay 60 lakh package. Just imagine how much they'll get from their client. Okay, so their startup companies are even ready to pay, provided they'll get huge out of that. They are okay to manage. Got it right? I'm talking about like non-eligible candidate. If you're already having some experience, you will not run behind these kind of startup companies, right? That is right. Got it?
Okay.
And that too, this purely depends upon the client requirement. Consider one more scenario. So these scenarios are also like most frequently will get. And this city client, consider city has a project. And this city project will be divided between different vendors. So TCS, in TCS, there will be some team. And maybe in Cognizant, there will be some team. In Accenture, there will be some team. Maybe in HCL, there will be some team. So one project will be shared between n number of vendors. Whoever is working, you people can easily correlate. So development team might be from TCS, testing team might be from different company, right? So client is giving his project split it into different vendors because of security reasons, budget reasons, and other things. I'll talk about this in coming classes. So here there is one development position, and we are supposed to hire a new developer. So what these pieces will do, they'll try to release one notification looking for a Pega developer. And there are like maybe 10 persons came for interview. So they're trying to check for each person. So no person is matching this position. So what they'll do, they'll try to release for more notification. And this process, if it is continued for 30 days, meaning in the past 30 days, they could not fill any position, right? So maybe if they have filled this position last month itself, from that day to till date, so they will be getting salary from the client, right? So the city client will pay TCS so and so huge amount, out of which they will be like paying small amount for this developer. So what they can do, they can straight away hire a developer. So on some project requirement basis, there will be scenarios of hiring a developer, making BGV as secondary. They can make background verification as secondary. So this BGV might be failed, no doubt. But because of project requirement basis, they'll mark it as secondary. So if this position is like properly running between client and this person, they'll leave it. In the next 6 months or 1 year, if there is no problem, then they'll continue it. So maybe if client is saying like that this candidate is not up to the mark or this project is cancelled, in that scenario, so client will not pay for this person, right? And this such big company, so they cannot further carry this person. So what they can do, they can say like after 1 year, we have performed reverse background verification, you found it as fraud. So that is where they might terminate it. So this is what happening these days. After 1 year of joining some company, Cognizant or some big company, so your friends are removed out. You might be listening to this. So what is happening? So far, whatever happened is like client requirement basis. So now client is not okay with so and so person. They wanted to ramp down few things. So that is where they wanted to use this point coming days. So what I'm trying to say here is even in such big companies also, even with fake things works out sometimes depending upon the project requirement. So if there is like immediate requirement, so there are like 10 persons coming here, out of which 9 persons are genuine but don't know anything Pega. And one person like you meaning you might not have proper Pega knowledge, or you might not have proper background, but you're having very good Pega knowledge. So they are supposed to hire you, just fill that position temporarily. So if that position is okay, running out smooth, then they'll ignore that. Maybe after 6 months or 1 year, if that is not working out, so background, they'll try to hire one more candidate and they might release you. So there will not be any billing stopping for that company. And you might be getting an employment for 6 months. And if everything is running smooth, it works out. So this is where 50% fake scenarios are also running out in big companies. Got it right? So you need not overthink about all these things today itself. You are supposed to start something learning Pega with some good attitude, and you do hard work, no doubt you'll get very good chance. So depending upon your background eligibility, no doubt you'll get very good chance. And you should compromise everything and should be in a position to learn the subject, the real-time subject. And there after 2 years or 3 years, if you start switching the company, no doubt you'll stand in a very good place after maybe 5 years of today. Got it right? Clear everyone? Okay, so the certifications, if you want, and it is expected to do certifications as soon as possible. As soon as possible. So today you're starting your Pega training, right? And it might last maybe for next 4 or 5 months. Doing certifications after 5 months is bad compared to doing it today itself. So that is where certifications are expected to be done as early as possible. So without you learning Pega how to do certifications, still there will be some process. If you are interested doing certifications quickly, reaches on our number. So we'll try to help you. Okay. And apart from these three major level certifications, you are even having with Pega business analyst certifications, Pega robotics, maybe Pega decision making. Okay. Kind of like Pega UI specialist. These are extra. So that will add something for your career, but these are primary. Without this, no one will consider your resume also. Got it right? Okay. So these are all the basic things what we have to learn before we start related to our actual stuff. Okay. So I think most of the questions, what general you'll get in your mind. So those must be clear. Okay. And you should start learning everything in terms of development. And it is very clear that there is no coding required, and it is clear that there is no prerequisite also. So you did not learn anything like Java for this. You did not learn any C language or you did not learn any database part. Still, you can manage learning better. So from today, next to 4 months, we concentrate. So we'll make you to work on completely Pega tool. So you'll understand each and everything about Pega tool. After you learned everything, if you wanted to start yourself as a Pega tester, you can start. So if you wanted to start yourself as a Pega developer, you can do it. If you wanted to go it as a Pega administrator or Pega business analyst, everything it can help you. Why? Because we are making you to learn the entire tool. Okay, so this is morely concentrated on development perspective, and other things will be pretty easy compared to development. Business analyst is pretty easy compared to development. So everything extracted out of this can be easily done. Okay. So clear, right, everyone? All in everyone following, right? Yes, right? Yes, please confirm.
Yes, Chandra.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So now with this knowledge, let me give you one statement. So consider your client is something as city. Your client is something as city. So city client, what they wanted to do is they wanted to design their credit card project. Okay. They wanted to design their credit card project. For that, they wanted to start with Pega. Day one, they'll go for Pega license, right? And this particular credit card project or whatever, it will be distributed between different vendors. So when any project is starting, all the service-based companies will go for bidding. Maybe TCS, Cognizant, Accenture, HCL. Every company will go for bidding. And here city client will say like, we are having development for this credit card project where we require these many sprints and these are our requirements and you have to follow so and so methodology. All these things they'll say. So maybe TCS might come forward and say it like, we'll do it for so and so X amount, maybe in 1 year time. And maybe another vendor, they can come forward and say like, we can complete it in just 2 months prior to that company and with some shorter amount. So based on which one vendor will be given with development. A project will have development, testing, everything, right? So maybe TCS might be given with the development. And this project has got testing also. Testing is one separate project, but the same testing will not be given for the earlier vendor. It will be given for different company, maybe like Cognizant. And for Accenture, they might be given like reporting part. And maybe for HCL, there might be deployment related part. So one project will be distributed between different vendors, right? Different vendors. So why client is doing between all these things? So can't it be given for one single company? Yes, but client is not interested to give a project in same company. So if it is between different companies, they'll get pure quality. What do you mean by this? So maybe if you are a developer joining in TCS today, so you'll work there for 1 year, right? After 1 year, you'll go to your manager and ask for some kind of increment. So your manager will ask you what you have done. Why should I give you hike? Very straightforward question. So you'll say like, I worked on these many defects and maybe I worked on these many extra tasks. So I worked on Saturdays and Sundays and these are the extra process improvements I have given for the client. So you'll try to add your positive points. So based on that, your manager might give you maybe 5% or 10% hike. Similarly, your manager is also working from past 1 year in the same company, right? So your manager also will expect some hike, right? Consider you are the team member and every one of you will go for the manager and manager will give you some hike on top of it. And even your manager will expect some hike. What he will do? He will ask his delivery manager. So again, same question. His delivery manager will ask what extra things you have done. So this person will say like, I'm managing my entire team. So there is nothing like proper slippages. Okay, there is no extra time we took. So everything we have completed in time. We worked on Saturdays and Sundays. So we worked something like cross functionality. So he'll try to add his points. And in this case, manager will say like, that is your duty. You as a manager, that is your duty. So that is what you're supposed to do. You are getting paid for that. So what extra things you have done, whatever you are saying is part of your regular duty. So this manager, what he's expecting is how many extra projects you got from the client. So here Cognizant has got something like testing project, right? So if this manager pulled out that project, no doubt he'll get some share out of that. So higher level management, they'll not get percentage related. They'll get something about share percentage. So every vendor here will try to look for pulling out new projects from other companies. So that is where maybe this manager can straight away project to the client saying like, this testing team is not doing good. So there are like n number of defects identified at the last minute. So our team is like, we are having very good testing team. So please get that project to us. We'll complete it in lesser time and that to 50% of the amount. That is where they'll try to grab other company projects. So if any manager is in a thought of grabbing other projects, no doubt he must be first strong enough, right? Strong enough in the sense he must do his development perfectly. Similarly, the testing manager here, what they'll talk about. So they'll say like, this development is not up to the mark. So we are having very good development. So every person will try to project something bad on another company. It's like open. I'm not talking about any particular company. So that is where first we should be perfect. That so here our development will be or our work will be good. So first thing is quality will be perfect. So if a project is shared between different companies, quality will be perfect. Second thing here is budget will be like saved for the client. So this company is ready to do for lesser amount compared to other company what they're doing, right? So budget will be like very less. And next and very important thing, so security will be good. So what do you mean by security? So here HCL is doing something like deployment related task. So if I'm a developer in this company, will I know everything what this person is doing? No, right? And this person, will he know everything what a developer is doing? No. So meaning this particular credit card project, if it is split between different companies, no company will know everything about our project. So security related things will be huge. So that is where client is sharing his project between n number of companies just to maintain all these things. Okay. So if client wanted to start one credit card project, so what exactly it will be done? Okay, so how an internal projects will be done and how we should start Pega project, everything we have to understand. Okay, so this we'll understand in tomorrow's session, next session. Got it right, everyone? All and everyone clear?
Yes, Chandra.
Okay, fine. So I think most of your questions might be answered. Okay, and you guys are done with the demo sessions. And if you are like, so this is our number. Every one of you should be having it. So you just drop a message saying like, I'm interested to continue. Okay, just drop a message. So based on which you'll be getting some enrollment related process and you'll be shared with all the recordings and documents. And day one, we showed you some portal, right? So you'll be added into that portal also and WhatsApp groups and everything. Okay. And you'll be even taking your screen share today for software installation and other things. So it will be continued. Okay.
Chandra, I need to discuss something personally to you. Can I call you after this meeting?
You just drop a message. I'll just call you back in next 10 to 15 minutes. Okay.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Okay, thank you. And everyone else who are like planning, just drop a message. Thank you. Thank you, everyone of you.